Hello, my name's Christian Hacking, and over the next few minutes I want to be bringing you the abortion headlines from this week. So let's work our way through the week. On Monday, marked 52 years since abortion was formally enacted in the United Kingdom. In that time, right, there have been an astonishing 9.4 million abortions. 9.4 million. It's been over a week now of trying to wrap my head around that figure. I just can't. It is a ginormous number. And as we think about who's responsible, well, there are many players as to why that figure is so high, from MPs, abortion providers, even the church. But that's a story for another day. But one figure I want us to really focus in on today is the MP who brought in the legislation in the first place. Now, the MP responsible is called Lord Steele. He was a Lib Dem MP at the time. And the legislation was brought in designed mainly for extreme cases. But there's two things you need to know about that legislation since then. Firstly, 12 years ago, Lord Steele spoke to The Guardian, in which he stated that there were too many abortions. That is, he never conceived of there being this number of abortions when he originally passed this legislation. The second thing you need to know about him is that in February of this year, he was found, he was exposed for covering up sexual abuses during his time in office. Now, I'm not just saying that to kind of smear the dude. I'm saying that because it's like really relevant. Because the IICSA report stated, and I quote, that Steele, along with others, put their own reputation or political interest before child protection. Isn't that fascinating that the man who brought in abortion has been exposed for caring more about his political career than about children? And that's only in reference to sexually abused born children, not in reference to the 94 million children lost by abortion. That man has a lot to answer for. Now, moving on. On Tuesday of this week, Parliament had its second reading of the Domestic Abuse Bill. For those of you who don't know what the Domestic Abuse Bill is, the Domestic Abuse Bill is an attempt by government to clarify legally what domestic abuse is and to put in safeguards, better safeguards for victims. However, pro-abortion MPs like Diana Johnson and Stella Creasy are seeking to use this legislation to decriminalise abortion in the United Kingdom. Now, decriminalisation of abortion sounds like a good thing. After all, no compassionate person wants to see post-abortive women being flung into jail. But that's not really what this is about. You see, the deception in the middle of the decrim debate is that the purpose of decriminalisation is to protect women being persecuted from illegal abortions, which rarely, if ever, happens in the United Kingdom. The true motivation of decriminalisation is exactly the opposite. It's to protect abortion providers and their abortionists from any prosecution or real legal scrutiny from their practice. It will lead to not only unborn children having all their rights removed, but it will also lead to every flavour of abortion under the sun, including sex-selective abortion, which is a big problem in ethnic minority communities. If you don't believe me on that, look up Victoria Derbyshire Show, October 20, 2018. Look up Luton. Right? Luton, they don't show people, they don't reveal the gender of their child to people in Luton because they know sex-selective abortions is a big thing. And that's with checks and balances and safeguards in place. If you remove those, it's only going to get even worse. But the greatest irony of all in all of this is that this act, which is designed to prevent abuse of women, mainly, will instead lead to more abuse, not only from partners, through coercion, not only sex-selective abortions, but through the very act of abortion itself, which harms women and kills unborn children. Finally, on a slightly lighter note, yesterday, good news, our Prime Minister Boris Johnson welcomed his new son into the world outside the womb. Our Prime Minister welcomed his fifth child with his fiancée, Carrie Symonds. Now, most interestingly of all in this story is that whilst our Prime Minister was in hospital dealing with the effects of corona, Carrie, his fiancée, was sending him images of his unborn child, telling him to get well for their child. Isn't that remarkable? That part of the motivation for our Prime Minister getting better from corona was an unborn child. Brilliant. And so it should be. However, how sad that at the same time his colleagues in government are being hoodwinked into using Corona as a motivation to bring in DIY home abortions, using Corona as a motivation to kill unborn babies. What a schizophrenic society we live in. Those are your news headlines with me, Christian Hacking, and the team at CBR UK. Do tune in next week at 5 p.m. for more abortion headlines.